What is up, YouTube? So today we started on another project, and this one is just for a friend of ours. They're about to have a baby sometime in the fall, and so knowing my speed of work, I gotta start today. And it's gonna be pretty cool, simple design, but really cool. 2 towers of shelves, I guess, and then like a bench in the middle. Now, we did get this design from Pinterest, and so basically I'm gonna try to link it to the original article. I modify a little bit for what they wanted, but really the idea came from this article. Pretty cool, pretty easy, so you're welcome to check that out. Let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with our face frames because that will define our cases. And so let's do it. Let's go. Alright, like many projects, we start on the miter saw, and so I'm gonna start with the face frames because that's what's gonna define my cabinet measurements. And so one thing that I've learned is if I cut my face frames, I can always, build my cabinet around that. Some people build boxes first. Some people build face frames first. I choose to do face frames. I think it works. Pretty simple construction. It's poplar 2-inch face frame, and I'm just doing pocket holes, cutting everything to size. You will see the dimensions. And again, one of the questions that I've gotten is, if I have detailed plans, and I don't. I just use the measurements, and it's a very simple drawing. And from that drawing, I just choose all the parts and mark them, and you can see I got all the parts that I needed, pocket hold, and I'm gonna start building the face frames. I'll start adding everything from top to bottom usually, and you see I have spacers as well, and those spacers allow me to keep everything perfect as much as possible. There's always some variation in the wood, but the spacers usually allow me to get it within a 32nd of an inch. It's pretty accurate. Here I'm doing the face frame for the bench. Same thing, just smaller. Put in the pocket holes where I need to, and if you see, I'm leaving a little bit of a toe kick, if you will, so that it's not flush with the ground. And here's what the bookcases are going to look like. One bookcase to each side, and then the bench in the middle. And obviously I'm measuring to make sure that it's within the measurements that my friends wanted. All right, not too bad. That's what the bookcases are gonna look like, more or less. Now that the face frames are ready to go, I gotta start building the cases. Pretty simple project, but I think it's gonna look really cool. So yeah, let's keep going. Like I mentioned, now I go back to the table saw and start building the cases. I think this piece of plywood was already ripped, so it's not an actual 8 feet. I actually ripped it with my with my track saw first, and then I brought it to the table saw to get the sides of the cabinet. Cutting everything at the same time, not the best way to do it, but it's what I need to do with the setup that I have. I'm actually building a miter saw right now, and I'll have a video soon on that, and it's so much easier to cut things with a miter saw station. And then I'm taking one at a time to cut into the final dimension. Track saw, it's such a great tool for me to start cutting the shelves here for both bookcases. Here I got a quarter spacer, and this is for the back. So the sides of the cabinets or the bookcases are gonna have a 1/4 inch groove so that I can put in the back. And you can see that right here. Now, one of the tricks is whenever you can use relative measuring is I attach the sides to the cabinet, and I use those to measure where the shelves need to be. And that is so that when I put the face frame on top of the bookcase cabinet, this is gonna align. I'm attaching it just with brad nails and glue. It's gonna be plenty strong. I'll fill up those net holes later. If you can notice, I'm still using a spacer at the top and at the bottom to make sure the shells are aligned, and I'm measuring so that I don't go through the wrong side with my 16 gauge nailer. So I'm using 16 gauge, so it's pretty big, and again, once the glue sets, this thing is gonna go nowhere. Plus adding the face frame is gonna make it really, really strong. So if you notice, I did one side first, I come back to the other side, and then I just added glue to all of them. Make sure that all the spacers were correct. Brat nail, and just went to town. So it's time to attach the face frame. So again, because it's gonna be a painted project, it allows me to just use glue and brat nails. I could just use glue and clamps, but it is faster just to attach with the brat nails and then move on. It can always be covered, filled those holes and painted. Nobody's gonna notice. It's great. And once again, I'm using relative measuring to make sure that I have the length of my bench like I want it. So I have the 2 pieces of plywood and then measuring where I need to cut my support pieces. These are my support pieces, 3-inch pieces, so that I can save some plywood. And once again, measuring to make sure that I know where to put the bottom and so that it won't be seen. And in fact, I do set the bottom a 16-inch lower so that there's a little lip that you don't see the 3/4 inch plywood. It makes it look cleaner. But when it comes to attaching everything, same thing, brad nails and glue, and the supports at the top so you can save some plywood. Then I'll put my face frame on. You can see right here, glue and brat nails once again. It's pretty easy. Now I do keep a 3/8 round over a bit in my router pretty much all the time so that I can soft all the edges. And so I did this on the bench and the bookcases, and then I used my big router with a flush trim bit to make sure that my face frames were flush with the sides of the bookcases. Then I worked on the top of the bench, which is just 3/4 inch plywood with poplar edge banding, again glue and brat nails, and then I took it to the table saw to make a flush. So the poplar was a little bit thicker, and I'm just using the table saw to make it flush and making it look good. Now here I'm using T111, I think it's called. Yeah, T111 for the back. This is what gives it that cool farmhouse look, which my friends wanted to have. And then they just wanted a off-white that matches the furniture in their baby's room. So this is basically the project, and yeah, let's look at final shots of the project. This is it for this project. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. But if you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I'll do my best to tell you what I know. And otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next video. Pura vida.